As director, I want to thank you for listening to this podcast, and it is our hope that you will find our production both entertaining and educational. Due to COVID-19, it was impossible for the ETSU Department of Theater and Dance to mount a live, on-stage production of King Lear. We decided, as a department, to turn this into a different type of learning experience for our students, as they would have the opportunity to work with Herb Parker, a professor of theater, professional equity actor, and true Shakespearean scholar. To allow many students to take part in this production, the department decided to cast many different students in each scene. Every rehearsal became a class on how to perform Shakespeare, team taught by Professor Parker and myself. Added to this were learning opportunities for a student sound designer and a stage manager. This project will be Herb's swan song at ETSU, as he is retiring in May of 2021. Herb, you're well known for your deep appreciation of the works of William Shakespeare. At what moment in your life did you discover your love for Shakespeare?
It began like many, reading his plays aloud in English class in school. Macbeth, Julius Caesar. I found that though I didn't often know what I was saying, I began to like hearing the sound of the words in my own voice. And sometimes I felt a kind of momentum in the arrangement and drive of the language. Years later, I realized why this was. I think this was how my early interest in theater began, and what led me to pursue a career as an actor. I must admit that eventually I learned that it was not only about the sound of the actor's voice. I made many mistakes as a young acting student, listening to the old Cadman LP recordings of his plays. I tried to talk like the British actors I was listening to, and even got the idea that it was necessary to do a British accent to play a Shakespearean role. Boy, did I have a lot to learn. What moved me most about Shakespeare then and to this day, what affected me so much that I had to write a book about how to act him, is the beauty with which he addresses every aspect of human life. For instance, aging. As I approach retirement, so many of these resonate with me, such as when Lear says, and this is not meant to be morbid, "'Tis our fast intent to shake all cares and business from our age, conferring them on younger strengths, while we, unburdened, crawl toward death." And Prospero, in Shakespeare's final play, The Tempest, who says, "I'll drown my book, and thence retire me to my Milan, where every third thought shall be of my grave." Shakespeare addresses every single aspect of life. All of his characters are philosophers. They constantly comment on life, death, love, hate, and how these four things have affected every person that has ever lived. I eventually learned that it was not about a great voice. It was about a tremendous need in the heart of the character to speak. And because of how theater was done in his time, every single thing the audience and the actor needed to know had to be in the words. His audience loved to sit and listen to the spoken word in the same way we joy in viewing a football game, baseball game, or basketball game in a stadium. Shakespeare would never have conceived of the great Russian acting teacher Konstantin Stanislavski. He had already done all of Stanislavski's work for him by putting it clearly in the words his characters spoke. This is why a famous suggestion in approaching the acting of Shakespeare is, just say it. His plays were meant to be performed, not read. Shakespeare's company never repeated the same play in a week of performances. It was all about entertainment and getting the play on. The plays themselves would not have survived had it not been for his two friends, John Hemmings and Henry Condell, gathering them together into the first folio 7 years after his death. I hope anyone wanting to learn more about Shakespeare will begin by banishing all thought that he is too high above them to be understood. Quite the opposite is true. All that is necessary, really, is to allow yourself to be guided by the punctuation and the sound, remembering that it is, after all, English. And he has already done everything for you and left it right there in the text.
Herb, that's wonderful. You know, many scholars consider King Lear to be one of Shakespeare's greatest plays. Harold Bloom, for example, wrote, "King Lear has seemed to many modern readers and audiences the greatest of Shakespeare's tragedies, precisely because of its anguished look into the heart of darkness." In your opinion, where does King Lear rank among the many plays of Shakespeare?
It is in his top 5, with Hamlet, Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, and Othello.
Thank you, Herb. And now, sit back and relax as the ETSU Department of Theater and Dance presents Great Scenes from King Lear. The play begins when an aged king, who desires to hear flattery and praise more than truth or facts, decides to divide his kingdom among his 3 daughters. Act 1, Scene 1, takes place in the great hall of King Lear, where the ceremony is about to begin.
Attend the lords of France and Burgundy, Gloucester.
I shall, my liege.
Meantime, we shall express our darker purpose. Give me the map there. Know that we have divided in 3 our kingdom, and 'tis our fast intent to shake all cares and business from our age, conferring them on younger strengths, while we, unburdened, crawl toward death. Our son of Cornwall, and you, our no less loving son of Albany, we have this hour a constant will to publish our daughter's several dowers, that future strife may be prevented now. The princes, France and Burgundy, great rivals in our youngest daughter's love, long in our court have made their amorous sojourn, and here are to be answered. Tell me, my daughters, since now we will divest us both of rule, interest of territory, cares of state, which of you shall we say doth love us most, that we our largest bounty may extend where nature doth with merit challenge? Goneril, our eldest born, speak first.
Sir, I love you more than words can wield the matter. Dearer than eyesight, space, and liberty. Beyond what can be valued rich or rare. No less than life, with grace, health, beauty, honor, as much as child e'er loved or father found. A love that makes breath poor and speech unable. Beyond all manner of so much, I love you.
What shall Cordelia do? Love and be silent.
Of all these bounds, even from this line to this, with shadowy forests and with champaigns riched, with plenteous rivers and wide-skirted meads, we make thee lady. To thine and Albany's issue be this perpetual. What says our second daughter, our dearest Regan, wife to Cornwall? Speak.
Sir, I am made of the self-same metal that my sister is, and prize me at her worth. In my true heart I find she names my very deed of love, only she comes too short. That I profess myself an enemy to all other joys which the most precious square of sense possesses, and find I am alone, felicitate in your dear highness love.
Then poor Cordelia, and yet not so, since I am sure my love's more richer than my tongue.
To thee and thine hereditary ever remain this ample third of our fair kingdom, no less in space, validity, and pleasure than that conferred on Goneril. Now, our joy, although the last, not least, to whose young love the vines of France and milk of Burgundy strive to be interest. What can you say to draw a third more opulent than your sisters? Speak.
Nothing, my lord.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Nothing will come of nothing. Speak again.
Unhappy that I am, I cannot heave my heart into my mouth. I love your majesty according to my bond, nor more nor less.
How, Cordelia? Mend your speech a little, lest it may mar your fortunes.
Good, my lord. You have begot me, bred me, loved me. I return those duties back as our right fit. Obey you, love you, and most honor you. Why have my sisters husbands if they say they love you all? Happily, when I shall wed, that lord whose hand must take my plight shall carry half my love with him, half my care and duty. Sure, I shall never marry like my sisters, to love my father all.
But goes thy heart with this?
Aye, good, my lord.
So young, and so untender.
So young, my lord, and true.
Let it be so. Thy truth, then, be thy dower. For, by the sacred radiance of the sun, the mysteries of Hecate and the night, by all the operation of the orbs from whom we do exist and cease to be, here I disdain all my paternal care, propinquity, and property of blood, and as a stranger to my heart and me hold thee, from this, forever, the barbarous Scythian, or he that makes his generation messes to gorge his appetite, shall to my bosom be as well neighbored, pitied, and relieved as thou, my sometime daughter.
Good, my liege.
Peace, Kent! Come not between the dragon and his wrath. I loved her most, and thought to set my rest on her kind nursery. Hence, and avoid my sight! So be my grave my peace, as here I give her father's heart from her. Call France! Who stirs? Call Burgundy, Cornwall, and Albany. With my two daughters' dowers digest this third. Let pride, which she calls plainness, marry her. I do invest you jointly with my power, preeminence, and all the large effects that troop with majesty. Ourself, by monthly course, with reservation of 100 knights, by you to be sustained, shall our abode make with you by due turns. Only we still retain the name, and all the additions to a king. The sway, revenue, execution of the rest, beloved sons, be yours, to confirm this coronet part betwixt you.
Royal Lear, whom I have ever honored as my king, loved as my father, as my master followed, as my great patron thought on in my prayers.
The bow is bent and drawn. Make from the shaft.
Let it fall, rather, though the fork invade the region of my heart. Be Kent unmannerly when Lear is mad? What wilt thou do, old man? Thinkest thou that duty shall have dread to speak, when power to flattery bows? To plainness honor's bound, when majesty stoops to folly. Reverse thy doom, and in thy best consideration, check this hideous rashness. Answer my life, my judgment. Thy youngest daughter does not love thee least, nor are those empty-hearted whose low sound reverbs no hollowness.
Kent, on thy life no more.
My life I never held but as a pawn to wage against thy enemies, nor fear to lose it, thy safety being the motive.
Out of my sight!
See better, Lear, and let me still remain the true blank of thine eye.
Now by Apollo!
Now, by Apollo, king, thou swearest thy gods in vain.
Out, vassal! Miscreant!
Dear sir, forbear.
Do, kill thy physician, and the fee bestow upon thy foul disease. Revoke thy doom, or whilst I can vent clamor from my throat, I'll tell thee thou dost evil.
Hear me, recreant! On thine allegiance, hear me. Since thou hast sought to make us break our vow, which we durst never yet, and with strained pride to come between our sentence and our power, which nor our nature nor our place can bear, our potency made good, take thy reward. 5 days we do allot thee, for provision to shield thee from diseases of the world. And on the 6th, to turn thy hated back upon our kingdom. If, on the 10th day following, thy banished trunk be found in our dominions, the moment is thy death. Away! By Jupiter, this shall not be revoked.
Fare thee well, king. Sith thus thou wilt appear, freedom lives hence, and banishment is here. Cordelia, the gods to their dear shelter take thee, maid, that justly thinkest and hast most rightly said. Regan and Goneril, your large speeches may your deeds approve, that good effects may spring from words of love. Thus Kent, O princes, bids you all adieu. He'll shape his old course in a country new.
Here's France and Burgundy, my noble lord.
My lord of Burgundy, we first address towards you, who with this king hath rivaled for our daughter. What, in the least, will you require in present dower with her, or cease your quest of love?
Most royal majesty, I crave no more than what your highness offered, nor will you tender less.
Right noble Burgundy, when she was dear to us, we did hold her so, but now her price is fallen. Sir, there she stands. If aught within that little seeming substance, or all of it, with our displeasure pieced, and nothing more, may fitly like your grace, she's there, and she is yours.
I know no answer.
Will you, with those infirmities she owes, unfriended, new adopted to our hate, dowered with our curse, and strangered with our oath, take her or leave her?
Pardon me, royal sir. Election makes not up on such conditions.
Then leave her, sir. For by the power that made me, I tell you all her worth. For you, great King of France, I would not from your love make such a stray to match you where I hate. Therefore beseech you to avert your liking a more worthier way than on a wretch whom nature is ashamed almost to acknowledge hers.
This is most strange, that she, that even but now was your best object, the argument of your praise, balm of your age, most best, most dearest, should in this trice of time commit a thing so monstrous, to dismantle so many folds of favor. Sure, her offense must be of such unnatural degree that monsters it, or your forfouched affection fallen into taint, which to believe of her must be a faith that should reason without miracle could never plant in me.
I yet beseech your majesty, if for I want that glib and oily art, to speak and purpose not, since what I well intend, I'll do it before I speak, that you make known it is no vicious blot, murder, or foulness, no unchaste action or dishonored step, that hath deprived me of your grace and favor, but even for want of that for which I am richer, a still soliciting eye, and such a tongue as I am glad I have not, though not to have it, hath lost me in your liking.
Better thou hadst not been born than not to have pleased me better.
Is it but this, a tardiness in nature, which often leaves the history unspoke that it intends to do? My lord of Burgundy, what say you to the lady? Love's not love when it is mingled with regards that stand aloof from the entire point. Will you have her? She is herself a dowry.
Royal Lear, give but that portion which yourself proposed, and here I take Cordelia by the hand, Duchess of Burgundy.
Nothing! I have sworn. I am firm.
I am sorry then, Cordelia. You have so lost a father that you must lose a husband.
Peace be with Burgundy, since that respects of fortune are his love, I shall not be his wife.
Fairest Cordelia, thou art most rich being poor, most choice forsaken, and most loved despised. Thee and thy virtues here I seize upon. Be it lawful, I take up what's cast away. Gods, gods, 'tis strange that from their coldest neglect my love should kindle to inflamed respect. Thy dowerless daughter, king, thrown to my chance as queen of us, of ours and our fair France. Not all the dukes of waterish Burgundy can buy this unprized, precious maid of me. Bid them farewell, Cordelia. Though unkind, thou losest here a better where to find.
Thou hast her, France. Let her be thine. For we have no such daughter, nor shall ever see that face of hers again. Therefore be gone without our grace, our love, our benison. Come, noble Burgundy.
Bid farewell to your sisters.
The jewels of our father, with washed eyes Cordelia leaves you. I know you what you are, and like a sister am most loath to call your faults as they are named. Use well our father. To your professed bosoms I commit him, but yet, alas, stood I within his grace, I would prefer him to a better place. So farewell to you both.
Prescribe not us our duties.
Let your study be to content with your Lord, who hath received you at fortune's alms. You have obedience scanted, and well are worth the want that you have wanted.
Time shall unfold what playeth cunning hides, who cover faults and at last shame them derides. Well may you prosper.
Come, my fair Cordelia.
Sister, it is not a little I have to say of what most nearly appertains to us both. I think our father will hence tonight.
That is most certain. And with you, next month with us?
You see how full of changes his age is. The observation we have made of it hath not been little. He always loved our sister most, and with what poor judgment he hath now cast her off appears too grossly.
'Tis the infirmity of his age, yet he hath ever but slenderly known himself.
The best and soundest of his time hath been but rash. Then must we look to receive from his age, not alone the imperfections of long and graft condition, but therewithal the unruly waywardness that infirm and choleric years bring with them.
Such inconsistent starts are we likely to have from him, as this of Kent's banishment.
There is further compliment of leave-taking between France and him. Pray you, let's hit together. If our father carry authority with such disposition as he bears, this last surrender of his will but offend us.
We shall further think on't.
We must do something, and I' the heat.
what we're learning here is that he doesn't have any fear of death or retribution. What's important is right here, right now. You. I'm going to get what I want and be damned what society says.
So then when I'm saying that nature line, is that more directed towards Edgar, or do you think that's more of a direction towards people who have wronged me in the past?
Everybody that's wronged you.
Okay.
I think he's mad at the world.
Yeah.
He's just mad at everybody.
Okay. Then quick question. So then when I'm saying to thy law, am I talking about society in a contrast to what I've just said of the I feel like things should be this way, or is it a continuation of nature being the, I guess, like it? So maybe this like makes it worse with that. Thou nature art my goddess, and to thy law, or thou nature art my goddess, but to thy law, like to someone else's law. Does that make sense? That's where I'm getting a bit tripped up.
I think, if I may, I think you're saying, I'm gonna be who I am, sons of bitches. Thou, comma, nature. Nature meaning who I am.
Oh, I see.
Thou, nature, art my goddess, and to your law, to me, to my law, to your law, my services are bound. A major subplot in King Lear is the story of a father, Gloucester, his legitimate son, Edgar, and his illegitimate son, Edmund. Edmund, bitter that he is considered less worthy because of how he is seen by others for being a bastard, is angry at the world and decides if he cannot be happy, then no one will. In Act 1, Scene 2, he reveals his plot to take his revenge on his family and the world.
Thou nature art my goddess. To thy law my services are bound. Wherefore should I stand in the plague of custom and permit the curiosity of nations to deprive me, for that I am some 12 or 14 moonshines lag of a brother? Why, bastard? Wherefore base, when my dimensions are as well compact? My mind is generous, and my shape is true as honest madam's issue. Why brand they us? Base, with baseness, bastardy, base, who in the lusty stealth of nature take more composition and fierce quality than doth within a dull, stale, tired bed. Go to the creating a whole tribe of fops, got tween asleep and wake. Well then, legitimate Edgar, I must have your land. Our father's love is to the bastard Edmund as to the legitimate. Fine word, legitimate. Well, my legitimate. If this letter speed and my invention thrive, Edmund the base shall top the legitimate. I grow, I prosper. Now, gods, stand up for bastards!
As I get deeper into his plays, I just realize ever more how important it is to rely upon the words, to rely upon exactly what you say is who you are, where you are, what you want. Every moment you can trust. If there's any question, what do I say? Well, what do I say? What literally do? And then, these marvelous speeches, the sounds in the body of the speech that help to build emotion, hammering the consonants, howling the vowels. In addition to, of course, because Shakespeare's sturdy enough to be supported by Stanislavski as well, actually. Mm-hmm. As far as emotion, obviously the actor will do their work, must do their work, and add to these words, but these words lead the way, the sounds of the words. in particular the consonants, and also, of course, the punctuation, um, uh, so that lines don't get broken, which is not to say that they must never be broken. It's only in the process of learning the line and learning what it means. Then the actor's talent can allow the actor to, in a whim, in rehearsal, in a moment, try something different. It's okay then.
The nation is now divided between Lear's daughters, Goneril and Regan. Lear decides to spend his retirement with his 100 faithful followers, moving between the two parts of his kingdom as he pleases, and expecting his children to honor, love, and take care of them. His most loyal follower, Kent, now in disguise, has rejoined him using the alias Caius. Lear's first visit is to the castle of Goneril, where he discovers that he and his retinue are not held in as high esteem as he expects. Act 1, Scene 4.
Then they for sudden joy did weep, and I for sorrow sung, that such a king should play bo peep, and go the fools among. Prithee, nuncle, keep a schoolmaster that can teach thy fool to lie. I would fain learn to lie.
And you lie, fool, we'll have you whipped.
I marvel what kin thou and thy daughters are. They'll have me whipped for speaking true, thou'lt have me whipped for lying. And sometimes I am whipped for holding my peace. I'd rather be any kind of thing than a fool. And yet, I would not be thee, nuncle. Thou hast parried thy wit a both sides, and left nothing in the middle. Here comes one of the parings.
How now, Goneril? What makes that frown on? Methinks you were too much of late to the frown.
Thou wast a pretty fellow when thou hadst no need to care for her frowning. Now thou art an O without a figure. I am better than thou art now. I am a fool. Thou art nothing. Oh, milady, yes, forsooth, I will hold my tongue, though your face bids me. Oh, though you say nothing. Mamma me, that keeps nor crust nor crumb, weary of all shall want some. That's an empty peapod.
Not only, sir, this your privileged fool, but other of your insolent retinue do hourly carp and quarrel, breaking forth in rank and not to be endured riots. Sir, I had thought by making this well known unto you to have found a safe redress, but now grow fearful by what yourself too late have spoke and done, that you protect this course and put it on by your allowance.
For you know, nuncle, so out went the candle and we were left darkling.
Are you our daughter?
I would you would make use of your good wisdom, whereof I know you are fraught, and put away these dispositions which of late transport you from what you rightly are.
Does any here know me? This is not Lear. Who is it that can tell me who I am?
Lear's shadow!
I would learn that. For by the marks of sovereignty, knowledge, and reason, I should be false persuaded I had daughters.
Ah, which they will make an obedient father.
Your name, fair gentlewoman?
This admiration, sir, is much of the savor of other your new pranks. I do beseech you to understand my purposes aright, as you are old and reverend, should be wise. Here do you keep 100 knights and squires, men so disordered, so debauched and bold that this our court, infected with their manners, shows like a riotous inn. Epicurism and lust makes it more like a tavern or a brothel than a grace palace. The shame itself doth speak for instant remedy. Be then desired by her that else will take the thing she begs. A little to disquantity your train, and the remainders that shall still depend to be such men as may resort your age, which know themselves and you.
Darkness and devils! Saddle my horses! Call my train together! Degenerate bastard! I'll not trouble thee. Yet have I left a daughter.
You strike my people, and your disordered rabble make servants of their betters.
Woe that too late repents! Oh, Albany! Sir, are you come? Is it your will? Speak, sir, prepare my horses!
Pray, sir, be patient.
Goneril, detested kite, thou liest. My train are men of choice and rarest parts, that all particulars of duty know, and in the most exact regard support the worships of their name. Oh, most small fault! How ugly didst thou in Cordelia show, which, like an engine, wrenched my frame of nature from the fixed place, drew from my heart all love, and added to the gall. Oh, Lear, Lear, Lear!
Master!
Beat at this gate that let thy folly in, and thy dear judgment out! Go! Go, my people!
My lord, I am guiltless as I am ignorant of what hath moved you.
It may be so, my lord. Here, nature, here, dear goddess, here. Suspend thy purpose if thou didst intend to make this creature fruitful. Into her womb convey sterility. Dry up in her the organs of increase, and from her delicate body never spring a babe to honor her. If she must steam, create her child of spleen, that it may live and be a thwart, disnatured torment to her. Let it stamp wrinkles in her brow of youth, with cadent tears fret channels in her cheeks. Turn all her mother's pains and benefits to laughter and contempt, that she may feel how sharper than a serpent's tooth it is to have a thankless child. Away!
Now, gods that we adore, whereof comes this?
Never afflict yourself to know more of it. But let his disposition have that scope as dotage gives it.
What? 50 of my followers at a clap? Within a fortnight?
What's the matter, sir?
Albany! I'll tell thee. Daughter, I am ashamed that thou hast power to shake my manhood thus. That these hot tears, which break from me perforce, should make thee worth them. Blasts and fogs upon thee! I have another daughter who, I am sure, is kind and comfortable. When she shall hear this of thee, with her nails she'll flay thy wolvish visage. Thou shalt find that I'll resume the shape which thou dost think I have cast off forever. In Act 2, Scene 3, Gloucester's son, Edgar, has falsely been labeled a traitor to his father and the kingdom. He realizes that there is no escape from the country, so to live, he must hide in plain sight, disguised as a filthy, almost naked, insane beggar he calls Tom o' Bedlam.
I heard myself proclaimed. By the happy hollow of a tree escaped the hunt. No port is free, no place that guard the most unusual vigilance does not attend my taking. Whilst I may escape, I will preserve myself. And I am bethought to take the basest and most porous shape that ever penury and contempt of man brought near to beast. My face I'll grime with filth, blanket my loins, elf all my hair in knots, and with presented nakedness outface the winds and persecutions of the sky. The country gives me proof and precedent of bedlam beggars, who, with roaring voices strike in their numbed and mortified bare arms pins, wooden pricks, nails, sprigs of rosemary, and with this horrible object, from low farms, poor pelting villages, sheepcotes and mills, sometimes with lunatic bands, sometimes with prayers, enforce their charity. Poor Turlygod! Poor Tom! That's something yet. Edgar, I nothing am!
I also feel pretty good in this thought is that the prose speech is every bit as much about speaking plainly so that, the iambic pentameter is flowery and grand and as such longer and more flowery. The prose is shorter and more to the point, obviously filled with dirty sexual allusions as well. I think it's very much about plain speaking, telling the truth. Feeling disrespected and betrayed by Goneril, Lear is furious and takes his 100 followers to the castle of his loyal friend Gloucester. There, he discovers his other daughter Regan and her husband. She pretends understanding and kindness, but is plotting with her sister to disband Lear's followers and to destroy him physically and emotionally. As he arrives, Lear finds his man, Caius, Kent, locked in the stocks. Act 2, Scene 4. Good morrow to you both.
Hail to your grace.
I am glad to see your highness.
Regan, I think you are. I know what reason I have to think so. If thou shouldst not be glad, I would divorce me from thy mother's tomb, sepulchring an adulteress. Beloved Regan, thy sister's naught. O Regan, she hath tied sharp-toothed unkindness like a vulture here. I can scarce speak to thee. Thou'lt not believe with how depraved a quality. O Regan!
I pray you, sir, take patience. I have hope you less know how to value her desert than she to scant her duty.
Say, how is that?
I cannot think my sister in the least would fail her obligation. If, sir, perchance she have restrained the riots of your followers, 'tis on such ground and to such wholesome end as clears her from all blame.
My curse is on her.
Oh, sir, you are old. Nature in you stands on the very verge of his confine. You should be ruled and led by some discretion that discerns your state better than you yourself. Therefore, I pray you that to our sister you do make return. Say you have wronged her.
Never, Regan. She hath abated me of half my train, looked black upon me, struck me with her tongue most serpent-like upon the very heart. All the stored vengeances of heaven fall on her ingrateful top. Strike her young bones, you taking airs, with lameness.
Fie, sir, fie!
Infect her beauty, you fen-sucked fogs drawn by the powerful sun to fall and blister.
Oh, the blessed gods! So will you wish on me when the rash mood is on?
No, Regan! Thou shalt never have my curse. 'Tis not in thee to grudge my pleasures, to cut off my train, to bandy hasty words, to scant my sizes, and, in conclusion, to oppose the bolt against my coming in. Thou better know'st the offices of nature, bond of childhood. Thy half of the kingdom hast thou not forgot, wherein I thee endowed.
Good sir, to the purpose.
Who put my man i' the stocks?
What trumpet's that?
I know it, my sisters.
Who stocked my servant? Regan, I have good hope thou didst not know on't. Who comes here? Oh, heavens! If you do love old men, if your sweet sway allow obedience, send down and take my part. Goneril, art not ashamed to look upon this beard? Oh, Regan, will you take her by the hand?
Why not by the hand, sir? How have I offended? All's not offense that indiscretion finds, and dotage terms so.
Besides, you are too tough. Will you yet hold? How came my man in the stocks?
I set him there, sir, but his own disorders deserved much less advancement.
You? Did you?
I pray you, father, being weak seems so. If till the expiration of your month, you will return and sojourn with my sister, dismissing half your train, come then to me.
Return to her? And 50 men dismissed? No! Rather, I abjure all roofs, and choose to wage against the enmity of the air, to be a comrade with the wolf and owl. Persuade me rather to be slave and sumpter. Return with her?
At your choice, sir.
I prithee, Goneril, do not make me mad. I will not trouble thee, my child. Farewell! We'll no more meet, no more see one another. But yet, thou art my flesh, my blood, my daughter, or rather, a disease that's in my flesh, which I must needs call mine. Thou art a boil, a plague sore, or embossed carbuncle in my corrupted blood. But I'll not chide thee. I can be patient. I can stay with Regan. I and my 100 knights.
Not altogether so. I looked not for you yet, nor am provided for your fit welcome. Give ear, sir, to my sister, for those that mingle reason with your passion must be content to think you old, and so. But she knows what she does.
Is this well spoken?
I dare avouch it, sir. What 50 followers? Is it not well? What should you need of more? Yea, or so many sit that both charge and danger speak in so great a number? How in one house should many people under 2 commands hold amity? 'Tis hard, almost impossible.
Why might not you, my lord, receive attendance from those that she calls servants, or from mine?
Why not, my lord? If then they chanced to slack you, we could control them. If you will come to me, for now I spy a danger, I entreat you to bring but 5 and 20. To no more will I give place or notice.
I gave you all.
And in good time you gave it.
Made you my guardians, but kept a reservation to be followed with such a number. What? Must I come to you with 5 and 20? Regan said you so?
And speak it again, my lord. No more with me.
Goneril, I'll go with thee. Thy 50 yet doth double 5 and 20, and thou art twice her love.
Hear me, my lord. What need you, 5 and 20, 10 or 5, to follow in a house where twice so many have a command to tend you?
What need 1?
Oh, reason not the need! Our basest beggars are in the poorest things superfluous. Allow not nature more than nature needs. Man's life is cheap as beasts. Thou art a lady. If only to go warm were gorgeous, why, Nature needs not what thou gorgeous wear'st, which scarcely keeps thee warm, but for true need. You heavens, give me that patience I need. You see me here, you gods, a poor old man as full of grief as age, wretched in both. If it be you that stirs these daughters' hearts against their father, fool me not so much to bear it tamely, no. You unnatural hags. I will have such revenges on you both that all the world shall... I will do such things! What they are, yet I know not. They shall be the terrors of the earth. You think I'll weep? No, I'll not weep. I have full cause of weeping, but this heart shall break into 100,000 flaws, or ere I'll weep. Oh, fool, I shall go mad!
Let us withdraw. 'Twill be a storm.
This house is little. The old man and people cannot be well bestowed.
'Tis his own blame hath put himself from rest, and he must needs taste his folly.
This particular I'll receive him gladly, but not one follower.
So am I purpose.
The king is in high rage!
Whither is he going?
He calls the horse. Will I know not whither?
'Tis best to give him way. He leads himself.
My lord, entreat him by no means to stay.
Alack! The night comes on, and the high winds do sorely ruffle. For many miles about there's scarce a bush.
Oh, sir, to willful men the injuries that they themselves procure must be their schoolmasters. Shut up your doors.
Shut up your doors, my lord. 'Tis a wild night. My Regan counsels well.
Act 3, Scene 2 contains one of the most famous speeches in all of Shakespeare's plays. Herb, what are your opinions of this speech?
It's one of the greatest speeches in all of Shakespeare's canon. It comes, understandably, at the greatest moment of Lear's madness, his horror, his disappointment in his daughters for disowning him. And Shakespeare has given him language which builds to tremendous heights in every stanza of the iambic pentameter that he speaks. He helps the actor to rise to that point. Lear is mad, and he's raving at the wind, at the thunder, at the lightning, at the rain, unafraid of those elements, far more afraid of what come to him by the betrayal of his daughters, and later afraid for his fool, who is also shuddered and close to him, shivering in the cold rain. And that actually, near the end of the scene, that's what brings Lear back to his senses, when he realizes that his loyal fool is cold and frightened. It's a challenge to every actor, and it's why I think that this role, even though the character as written is supposed to be in his middle 80s, really ought to be played by an actor of about half that age, made up so that they can have the full energy to essay the role during the course of a 3-hour evening. It's probably no mistake that Shakespeare built into the playing of the scenes a good long stretch of rest for Lear after this scene.
That's wonderful, Herb. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Act 3, Scene 2.
Blow winds and crack your cheeks. Rage, blow, you cataracts and hurricanos. Spout till you have drenched our steeples, drowned the cocks, you sulphurous and thoughts-executioning fires, vault couriers of oak-cleaving thunderbolts, singe my white head, and thou, O shaking thunder, strike flat the thick rotundity of the world, crack nature's molds, all Germans spill at once that makes ingrateful man.
Oh, nuncle! Pour holy water in a dry house is better than this rainwater out the door. Good nuncle, in! Ask thy daughter's blessing. Here's a knight that pities neither wise men nor fools.
Rumble thy belly full, spit fire, spout rain, nor rain, wind, thunder, fire are my daughters. I tax not you, you elements, with unkindness. I never gave you kingdom. Hold you children, you owe me no subscription. Then let fall your horrible pleasure. Here I stand, a poor, infirm, weak and despised old man, but yet I call you servile ministers, that will with two pernicious daughters join your high engender's battles against a head so old and white as this. Oh, oh, 'tis foul!
He that has a house to put's head in has a good head piece.
Who's there?
Marry, here's grace and a codpiece. That's a wise man and a fool.
Alas! Sir, are you here? Things that love night love not such nights as these. Since I was man, such sheets of fire, such bursts of horrid thunder, such groans of roaring wind and rain I never remember to have heard.
Let the great gods that keep this dreadful pudder o'er our heads find out their enemies now. Tremble, thou wretch, that hast within thee undivulged crimes unwhipped of justice. Hide thee, thou bloody hand, thou perjured, and thou similar of virtue that art incestuous. Caitiff, to pieces shake, that under covert and convenient seeming has practiced on man's life. Close pent-up guilts, rive your concealing countenance, and cry these dreadful summoners grace. I am a man more sinned against than sinning.
Alack, bare-headed? Gracious, my lord, hard by here is a hovel. Some friendship will it lend you against the tempest. Repose you there!
My wits begin to turn. Come on, my boy. How does my boy out cold? I am cold myself. Where is this straw, my fellow? The art of our necessities is strange and can make vile things precious. Come, your hovel. Fool and knave, I have one part in my heart that's sorry yet for thee.
He that has and a little tiny wit, with hey ho, the wind and the rain, must make content with his fortunes fit. Though the rain it raineth every day.
True, my good Come, Caius, bring us to this hovel. Human care for someone who has been near death and is going to survive. So we feel at this moment redemption and reunion and the happiness of the people who love them nearby who see that redemption and reunion. Oh, so wonderful they're back together again.
Now this is the classic dark bright scene where we think everything is going to be okay. And then Shakespeare's going to pull the rug out from under our feet in just a few moments. And it's going to be horrible. But it's, if we look at structure, this is that classic moment, that twist. So we need all the happiness, all the goodness, all the, those feelings, and then the play works.
Act 4, Scene 7, is a beautiful scene, filled with love and hope for a better future. Lear and his fool have been found and taken to the camp of the French army, who were in preparation for a battle with the British army, now under the command of Edward. Lear is in a deep sleep, and the doctor, Cordelia, and Kent anxiously await to see if his wits will return to him when he is awakened.
Thou good Kent, how shall I live and work to match thy goodness? My life will be too short, and every measure fail me.
To be acknowledged, madam, is o'erpaid.
Doctor, how does the king?
He sleeps still.
Oh, kind gods, cure this great breach in his abused nature, the untuned and jarring senses, wind up of this child-changed father.
So please your majesty that we may wake the king? He hath slept long.
Be governed by your knowledge, and proceed in the sway of your own will.
Aye, madam. In the heaviness of sleep, we put fresh garments on him.
Be by, good madam. When we do wake him, I doubt not of his temperance.
Very well.
Please, draw near.
No, my dear father, restoration, hang thy medicine on my lips, and let this kiss repair those violent harms that my two sisters have in thy reverence made.
Kind and dear princess.
Had you not been their father, these white flakes did challenge pity of them. Was this a face to be opposed against the jarring winds? Mine enemy's dog, though he had bitten me, should have stood that night against my fire. And wast thou fain, poor father, to hovel thee with swine and rogues forlorn in short and musty straw? Alack, alack, 'tis wondered that thy life and wits at once had not concluded all. He wakes. Speak to him.
Madam, do you. 'Tis fittest.
How does, my royal lord? How fares your majesty?
You do me wrong to wake me out of the grave. Thou art a soul in bliss, but I am bound upon a wheel of fire, that mine own tears do scald like molten lead.
Sir, do you know me?
You are a spirit. I know. When did you die?
Still far wide.
He's scarce awake. Let him alone a while.
Where have I been? Where am I? Fair daylight? I am mightily abused. I will not swear these are my hands. Let's see. I feel this pinprick. Would I were assured of my condition!
Oh, look upon me, sir, and hold your hand in benediction o'er me. No, sir, you must not kneel.
Pray do not, Mark. I am a very foolish, fond old man. 80 and upward, not an hour more nor less. And I fear I am not in my perfect mind. Methinks I should know you, and know this man. yet I am doubtful. Do not laugh at me, for, as I am a man, I think this lady to be my child, Cordelia.
So I am.
Be your tears wet? Yes, Faith. I pray, weep not. If you have poison for me, I will drink it. I know you do not love me, for your sisters have, as I do remember, done me wrong. You have some cause, they have not.
No cause.
Am I in France?
In your own kingdom, sir.
Do not abuse me.
He comforted, good madam. The great rage you see is killed in him.
Pray you now, forget and forgive. I am old and foolish.
Holds it true, sir, that the Duke of Cornwall was so slain?
Most certain, sir.
Who was conductor of his people?
As 'tis said, the bastard son of Gloucester.
They say Edgar, his banished son, is with the Earl of Kent in Germany.
Report is changeable. 'Tis time to look about. The powers of the kingdom approach apace.
The arbitrament is like to be bloody. Fare you well, sir.
My point and period will be thoroughly wrought, or well, or ill, as this day's battles fought. The hope for a better future is shattered in Act 5. The French have lost the battle. Lear and Cordelia are captured, and their fate is in the hands of Regan, Goneril, and Edmund, who want them dead. We learn that Edgar has finally revealed his true identity to his father, Gloucester, and that Gloucester dies almost immediately following this revelation. Albany, upon hearing of Goneril's affair with Edmund, charges him with treason and is forced to set up a challenge for his right to rule. Thus begins Act 5, Scene 3.
If any man of quality or degree within the lists of the army will maintain upon Edmund, supposed Earl of Gloucester, that he is a manifold traitor, let him appear by the third sound of the trumpet. He is bold in his defense. Trumpet! Again! Again!
Who are you? Your name, your quality, and why do you answer this summons?
No, my name is lost by treason's tooth bare gnawn and canker bit. Yet am I noble as the adversary I've come to cope.
Which is that adversary?
Edmund, draw thy sword. Thou art traitor, false to thy gods, thy brother, and thy father, conspiratant against this high illustrious prince, and from the extremest upward of thy head to the descent and dust below thy foot, a most toad spotted traitor.
Back do I toss these treasons to thy head. This sword of mine shall give them instant way, where they shall rest forever. Trumpets, speak!
thou that hast this fortune on me? If thou art noble, I do forgive thee.
I am no less in blood than thou art. My name is Edgar, and thy father's son. The gods are just, and of our pleasant vices make instruments to plague us. The dark and vicious place where thee he got cost him his eyes.
Thou spoken right. 'Tis true. The wheel has come full circle. I am here. What you have charged me with, that have I done. And more, much more. The time will bring it out. 'Tis past, and so am I.
Methought thy very gait did prophesy a royal nobleness. I must embrace thee. Let sorrow split my heart if ever I did hate thee or thy father.
Worthy prince, I know it.
How have you known the miseries of your father?
By nursing them, my lord. Never, O fault, revealed myself unto him until some half hour past, when I was armed. I asked his blessing, and from first to last told him our pilgrimage. But his flawed heart, alack, too weak the conflict to support, twixt two extremes of passion, joy and grief, burst smilingly.
She's dead.
Who dead? Speak.
Your lady, sir, your lady. And her sister by her is poisoned. She confesses it.
I was contracted to them both. All three now marry in an instant.
I am come to bid my king and master I good night. Is he not here?
Edmund, where's the king? And where's Cordelia?
I pant for life. Some good I mean to do, despite of mine own nature. A captain hath commissioned from thy wife and me to hang Cordelia in the prison, and to lay the blame upon her own despair that she foredid herself.
Oh, you are men of stones! Had I your tongues and eyes, I'd use them so that heaven's vault should crack. She's gone forever. I know when one is dead and when one lives. She's dead as earth. Lend me a looking glass. If that her breath will mist or stain the stone, why, then she lives.
Is this the promised end?
Or image of that horror?
Fall and cease.
This feather stirs, she lives. If it be so, it is a chance which does redeem all sorrows that ever I have felt.
Oh, my good master.
Prithee away.
'Tis noble Kent, your friend.
A plague upon you, murderers, traitors all. I might have saved her. Now she's gone forever. Cordelia, Cordelia, stay a little. What didst thou say'st? Her voice was ever soft, gentle and low, an excellent thing in woman. I killed the slave that was a hanging thee.
'Tis true, my lords.
Did I not, fellow? I have seen the day. With my good biting falchion, I would have made him skip. I am old now, and these same crosses spoil me. Who are you? Mine eyes are not of the best. I'll tell you straight. Are you not Kent?
Your servant, Kent. Where is your servant Caius?
He's a good fellow, I can tell you that. He'll strike, and quickly too. He's dead and rotten.
No, my good lord. I am the very man that from your first of difference and decay have followed your sad steps.
You are welcome hither.
He knows not what he says, and vain is it that we present us to him.
My Lord Edmund is dead.
That's but a trifle here.
My poor fool is hanged. No, no, no life. Why should a dog, a horse, a rat have life, and thou no breath at all? Thou'lt come no more. Never, 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 never. Pray you, undo this button. Thank you, sir. Do you see this? Look on her. Look. Her lips. Look there. Look there.
My lord? My lord!
Vex not his ghost. Oh, let him pass. He hates him that would upon the rack of this tough world stretch him out longer.
He is gone, indeed.
The wonder is he hath endured so long.
Edgar, Kent, friends of my soul, you twain rule in this realm, and the Gorad state sustain.
I have a journey, sir, shortly to go. My master calls me. I must not say no.
The weight of this sad time we must obey. Speak what we feel, not what we ought to say. The oldest hath borne most. We that are young shall never see so much, nor live so long.